Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today is the Nordic Stripes crochet blanket. I am going to crochet with you this entire particular panel section right here. The rest of this is just single crochet stripes. I'm gonna just quickly demonstrate those striping and I'm gonna show you how to read the pattern in order to get that. But really the concentration is right here in rows number 1 through 54 that creates this. I'm also gonna have an alternative for you today to show you how you can do this but then end up with that. Isn't that exciting? I also have this worksheet for download exclusively on the Crochet Crowd, as well as I have another learning worksheet that I made for myself in order for me to check it off. This is basically the pattern that is on the last page and I've just duplicated it so I can follow it through the repeat, and I also put a little checkbox here. I also wanted to put in my colors so that I know which one is which and etc. So I'm gonna be covering a lot today, and without further ado let's just take a closer look at this pattern. When we go to look at this particular blanket, you're gonna notice that there's 3 different striping panels. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So this Nordic stripes right here in the middle, this mosaic crochet, is only listed one time in the pattern because it's a repeat. So what you're looking at here is, if you look at the beginning of the pattern, stripe A, B, and then C is on page number 2. That's the particular order in which the stripes are going into. So if you're substituting your yarn in any way, what I like to do, just for my own peace of mind, is that I do write down the colors that I'm gonna be substituting with. So Red Heart Heat Wave is what I'm using here for this example, and I write on the back near the color the letter that matches the pattern, so that I can just say, okay, well D here is Sandy Shores. In this case it was right, but then ultraviolet for number B, instead of using Passport I used ultraviolet, just like you see, a variegated yarn, and I just wrote down B. So that's a great way to keep yourself organized. So these stripes are actually really easy to be able to maintain, but the thing that you're gonna wanna watch for is these joins and breaks right here. So let's just zoom in and show you that closely. So this blanket has a border, so anything that we do along the side of the edge here is going to be hidden, and that's kind of fun. So what we have here is, when you look at this particular sample, let me just pull it into the view, you can see that the colors get carried up. So the border will go right up over top of that strand to hide it right inside the border. So when you're looking at these instructions, it will say with A work rows 6 rows and join B. It does not say to break A. So so A is just gonna travel up through the side just like you see on the sample here, and then you're going to do with B 2 rows, and it does not say to break at all, so you're just gonna keep it traveling up. So when it says to break a color, that means that it's gonna be ending for that particular section, and then you join a new one and then break B and etc. So you wanna just pay attention to that. It just saves you time if you don't have to cut your yarn and weave in your ends, and it will be hidden in. If you've done the Joanne stitch along with me, then you will know that that's the kind of concept that we were going for, and you know that that also works. So let's take a closer look at the mosaic stitching. It's also called interlocking and mosaic crochet, and let's take a closely look at that. So pages 2 all the way through 6 are the written instructions just for the mosaic itself. A lot of words. Can you imagine being the designer having to write that poor person. So what they have here is that this is the written instruction for it, but if you can learn how to read a diagram, which I will cover extensively today, is that you can skip all of this process and go right to the final page. In the final page it actually has a diagram that you can see here, but I also have a downloadable worksheet that has this, but actually has it twice so that you can see the effect. Now from the camera angle here I really can see how the look is going to appear, but if you see how the lines are like pointing inward, that's exactly the opposite to the way that it looks. So the way that the diagrams look visually to your eyes always seem to be opposite to what actually happens on the project. So it's just because of the lines and etc. So that's something that you should not get yourself hung up on. So we have a diagram that I want to show you, and it's my alternative, and I have this for a download for you. So let me just go through the details of this particular one, and you can get this exclusively on the Crochet Crowd. So when I go to crochet something like this, I do my advanced homework so I understand it. So for myself, I wanted to see the repeat happen at least one time. So this here is showing us, this section here is the actual one that you see in the pattern. So what I did is that I took a copy of that and I duplicated it, and I just lined it up so that it looks like it belongs together. So it just is a neat way of doing it. And so then I use this so that I could at least see what happens in between the repeating. So I indicated, the red indicates the start of a repeat. So you can see that the red line, that's the starting of a repeat. The repeat is 16 stitches in order to make it happen. So you're gonna get 16 done and then repeat again. Here's what I would recommend to you. if this is something that's going to really toss your mind, you can always just use a strand of yarn and put it in the first stitch of a repeat, and then you can physically see it, and every time you pass through it just keep moving it up, and then you will be able to get that done. You will also notice that this pattern also works like a mirror. So what happens in one repeat happens in the next, and if you're ever confused, if you just look at what you just did, you just have to duplicate it again and again and again as you work through the rows. So you can see that it's a checkoff row. So I found last night, because this is stuff I just added this morning, but when I go to do this I just check it off as I'm going to be able to work through it. And the reason for that is that sometimes you can just have to get up, you know, go to the washroom, make a sandwich or whatever, and you come back and say, what row was I really on? If you just check it off as you go, it makes it a lot easier. I also indicated what colors they are. So you'll notice that the white section, it's all the same color that's used in the white, and then the gray is the alternative color. So what I would recommend to you, what color is this? The first one, just write that down, and what color is that, because once you start working through this and getting really distracted in all this, if you're getting confused and you don't know exactly where you are in the pattern, at least if you know what the color is, that you can see kind of where you finished and just look at the diagram and see where you've ended. So that's kind of a neat idea. Now the pattern also works in the sense that everything happens in sets of 2. So 2 rows are one color, the next 2 rows are the other color, and the next row is the similar same color as before, and etc. So the white always appears every other section, just like you see, and everything's worked up in 2s. So when you go to start up the first row, row number 1 is the new color. So in this case it would be white that you see within the pattern itself. So you're gonna go across with the white, and when you return it's the same color that goes back on the return. So this side here, rows, all these odd numbers are the first row of each of the colors when they start. So row number 3 is gonna be the next color, so you're gonna go across with that color and then come back. So the colors that are not being used in real time are going to just be carried up along the side. So you can see when they're not in use, they're just carried up, and then the border will then cover that over top as well. So that's a neat kind of way to be able to look at it as well. So I was thinking to my point of view, what happens if I really like this and I want to have a repeat of this again? Maybe it's not tall enough for me. So I actually figured that out for you too. So in the pattern you're going to see that one section looks like this. So this is actually, you see 2 sections, it's the same. You just have to do it twice. And I thought, what if I really want this, and I really wanted to kind of look like a mosaic tile floor? How do you do it? So I literally took the graphs and I overlaid them, and I had Daniel and I look at it, and I crocheted a small little mini sample where I think the new repeat is, and I verified that. So what you're looking at here on this section here is rows number 1 through 54. Okay, so 1 through 54. But if you want something like this, you're going to start off with row number 1 and go all the way in only to 48. So 1 through 48, and then you pick it up again. So this is written in the instructions right here. So 1 through 48, and then you start from the 9th row and go to the 48th. So anytime you want to keep adding more and more, it's rows number 9 through 48. When you're satisfied with the length of this, all you just need to do is do your final 9 through 54 and then finish. So if you want to start off with some striping before you start this, whatever you do when you start, I would recommend you do it on the opposite side just to keep the balance, just like you see here. So it's a great way to do this. So if you want to keep making more of these diamonds, maybe do the striping right here, and the striping, and eliminate this block out. That's completely up to you. You are the artist, and this is your creativity. So on screen is the sample that we used for the Joanne stitch along. So you can see that we had different kinds of mosaics. So what I'm about to present to you is a different layout that is the same. So one thing that I got really confused about when I saw this pattern last year is it said interlocking crochet. This is called mosaic crochet, and interlocking is a different technique completely. So I thought it was, this is also called interlocking, but it's not the way that I thought it was. And when you turn it over, you're going to notice that the opposite side, the back side, always has these stripes. So when we go to look at today's sample, when we go to do it, you're gonna start off with striping. So I did the striping just to say that I did it, so that I understood it. So this is striping pattern A, and then I jumped and I did the mosaic right here. So the mosaic that you see here is exactly rows number 1 through 54 all the way to the top. And when you turn it over, guess what? you have the striping just like you would have had on the Joanne. So everything is very, very similar to what Joanne's stitch along was. There's a few alternatives because there's a few sections where you see that there's 2 drop downs in a row. So you just gotta watch when that happens. It's not very often, and that's pretty much the only ones that you have to really be concerned about. So let's take you to the diagram and let's just go through a little bit more closely, and then we're gonna get ourselves more involved, and I'm sorry that this introduction is so long. So in the pattern you're going to do the striping, just single crochet rows, it's pattern A, and then you're going to then start the next section, which will be this mosaic. So the mosaic here, the first 2 rows, so row 1 starting and row number 2, so it goes across and then back. So the odd side is where all the strands are gonna carry up. It's gonna be row number 3 is when you're gonna start providing the gapping spaces for when the stitches drop down. So remember what we did with the Joanne one. If I just bring you in a little bit closer, you can actually see it. Whenever you skip a stitch, you always have to chain an extra one. So you see that you skipped 1 stitch, you chain 2. This case, because we're gonna come 4 straight down, is that there is 4 skip spaces but there's 5 chains. So just keep that in mind. The other thing that is really easy about this pattern when you think about it is that the row that goes back, okay, so we go across and we do all the fancy work, we leave the holes so that stitches can drop down. When we go back in the other direction, each stitch, not chain, but each stitch will get a single crochet, and if there is a chain you match exactly what the chain is. So what you're gonna notice in this pattern is that I'm gonna take you across and then I'm just gonna stay matched stitch for stitch going back. So for example, row number 3 we're gonna come across, we do this chaining of 5, 2 single crochets in a row, chain 2, 2 singles. When you're ready to go back you chain up 1 and each one of these stitches match each other. So there's a single over top of a single. If there is a chain, match the chain, and there's a chain 5 so you're gonna match that, and etc. Just keep an eye on that when you're going to do this. I'd also recommend that when you're doing these rows just turn it over and take a quick look at the pattern as you're going across. Make sure that nothing appears to be out of sync with something. So it's easier to look now than it is to realize 2 rows from now that things are not lining up. So just take a quick peek and make sure that everything is gonna work out. So let's get you started on just making sure that you understand how to do the striping pattern, which will just be a few moments, and then we're gonna dive right in from rows number 1 through 54, and then if you would like to do the diamond shape you can do rows number 1 through 48 and then continue the diamonds going from rows number 9 through 48 and etc. And when you're satisfied with the end you'll go from 9 all the way to 54 in order to finish your afghan if that's what you would like to do. So we're gonna be using a 5mm crochet hook, Red Heart Heat Wave. It's a suggested yarn. Just use whatever yarns that you would feel most comfortable with. Lots of great yarns within the Yarnspirations family, and it's a 5mm hook, so if you are changing your yarns just keep that in mind when you're deciding your crochet hook size. So without further ado let's finally grab some yarn and let's play. So let's begin doing the striping if you'd like to do exactly what it shows in the photograph. So with this you will chain 132 using color A, and if you would like to do multiples of making this wider you chain in multiples of 16 and then add 4 at the end. So 16, 16, 16, and when you're satisfied add 4 more chains at the end and you will have the right balance in order to do this, and it's absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to do 2 repeats of 16 and then adding 4 for this particular sample. So this striping effect, so this here the beginning is just the stripes, and then this next section which will take you all the way to the 6th page is the actual mosaic itself. So you can see that the striping is actually really simple, and now you're thinking, well, where are you getting the information for the coloring? It's right back, striping pattern A. So you're gonna do like 6 rows of A, 2 rows of B, and keep in mind on the breaks and the joins like I already talked about, and just do these. These are 28 rows that do this, and once you have those 28 done you're then going to drop down here to the next section and start the mosaic. In the mosaic section I am going to be demonstrating that on camera with the diagram in hand because it's just easier to visualize as well. So let's just make sure that you understand how to do the striping, and I'll just do a quick sample with you. So with the slip knot on the hook, 5mm, and it's Red Heart Heat Wave is my suggestion. So you're going to chain in multiples of 16, 16, 16, and then add 4, or if you want exactly this project just chain 132. So I'm just gonna do a small little sample here because it's all just single crochet striping. So you're just gonna go all the way across, and when you get to the width that you want then you're just going to just single crochet second chain from the hook and then come back with the same idea. So we're just getting ourselves started on this particular project of just the striping. And the key is to keep in mind to make sure that you get every stitch along the edge. This is considered an expert level, an experience level, one of the highest levels of crochet projects, and so that is just to keep that in mind. Once you get all the way to the end, you just turn your work and chain 1 and begin to single crochet all the way back. Now if it's telling you to change a color and it's not telling you to break, then I'm going to demonstrate that in just a second on how that's done. So you're just gonna single crochet yourself all the way back. Make sure you get every stitch that is in the path. And on the last one, if you have to change the color, you do not want to fasten off, but what you want to do is that you want to make sure that you're gonna start a new color. You can create a slip knot if you want to in order to have extra security, and then bring it on. So let the gray drop down out of the way and turn your work and using the new color. And you can just use the new color for how many rows it suggests. So chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in each. So everything is working in even pairs. So 2, 4, 6 and etc. And what that's doing is it's always allowing you to change the yarn color on the same side. So once you're all the way across, you turn, chain up 1. So it could be rows of 2, 4 and etc. You just gotta look at the pattern. Once you're all the way back across the other side, if you have to change the color again, just let this color drop unless it tells you to break it, and then pick up the other color and then turn your work and then begin. So this other one, just leave it out of the way so that you have that ready for you next time, and just start with the new color and just keep on just repeating the rows back and forth. Now with a single crochet, adding double crochets in order to speed up the height, it does actually impact it because this stitch is a lot tighter than double crochet. So if you're gonna switch off single crochets with double, just be mindful that you may get a ruffle in your work. So when you're ready, just chain up 1 and turn, or turn and chain up 1, however you prefer. And you're just gonna do your striping, and the striping is just like that. Easy. So what I'm going to do is that we're gonna get ourselves ready and we're gonna start doing the mosaic next, and that's right now. So I'm just starting a new section right here, and essentially you go from your striping and then you go to the mosaic. So I've just done the 2 rows just before starting the mosaic section, and you can see that it's just gonna match. So we're just gonna then pick it up and we're gonna start our diagram, and I'm recommending in the diagram, if we move everything out of the way, is that you get a sticky note and you can just actually just follow your way across. So it's just a lot easier if you can just put your sticky note and then determine where you are and then just lay it so that you don't get confused. And that's how you do it. So the designer also suggests doing that too. So you're just gonna go across and back, and it's just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. We're gonna be using our first color, which is the white color in this particular case, and we're gonna do rows number 1 through 2, and then we're gonna change our color. So just going across with the color and then back, and it doesn't matter about the repeats at this particular moment. So let's do rows number 1 and 2. 1 single crochet in each. So just picking up your sample, just chain 1 and then do 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going across and then back. Once you come to the end of row number 2, turn your work and let's get started. Let's go back to the diagram and let's move ourselves up. Now rows number 3 and 4 are the other color that we're about to use, and you're just gonna go across, chain up 1, and you can see that there's 2 single crochets in a row, and then you're gonna skip the 3rd one and you chain 2, and then you're going to do 2 single crochets in a row. You chain 5 but only skip 4, single crochet in the next one, and then chain 5, skip 4 again, and then single crochet in the next 2, and then chain 2, skip the next one, and then the repeat starts. So the red line marks the repeat of going across and across. Once you get to the very end of this side, the last 2 stitches of here will just be 2 single crochets in a row, and when you come back in the opposite direction, you're just gonna put match stitch to stitch like we talked about already. Let's begin row number 3. So I am at the end of row number 2. So the last stitch, what I want to do is just pull that out just partially, and the last pull through that stitch should be actually the other color that we want to work with, because it wasn't already on my work. I wasn't there to pull it through. So just pull it through, so the very last pull through before you turn should be the new color, and you're gonna do that each and every time. Get that other color out of the way, just put it down close to your lap, and let's begin row number 3. So we're just gonna chain up 1, and then the first two are 2 single crochets in a row. So 1 and 2, and then chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2. Just like that. Now you're gonna chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and skip only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come over to the 5th one and single crochet, and then do that again. So chaining 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and skip the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then single crochet in the 5th one, and then single crochet in the next one, and then chain 2, and then single crochet, skipping the next one, and skip single crochet in the next. So right here, this single crochet that I just put in is the next start of the repeat when you're going to do this. So do you see that this one here, it's the second one in, that's part of the repeat, and you can see that. So it should look like a mirror. So what's happening on one side, so consider this the center point of the mirror. So what's happening on one side matches the other, and if you can remember that, it's a lot easier. Let's continue along. So you're just gonna chain 2, skip the next one, and single crochet in the next 2, and then you're gonna do your chain 5s again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip only 4, go to the 5th, single crochet, chain 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and skip only 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet in the next one, and then the one after that, and then chain 2, skip the next one, and you only have 2 single crochets left. So if you want to make this a little bit easier for yourself, if you put a stitch marker at the point where it's showing you where the like the mirror is, like this is one section, this is another, so 16 is 16. If you want to put a stitch marker in that particular stitch, now's the time to do it so that you can keep an eye. So as you're working all the way across, you may want to do that in order to keep an eye on where the repeat starts. That's up to you, and if that makes it a little bit easier for you, then that's your call. So you should be able to see how they're balancing each other, and when you're working your way across the afghan, you should be able to see that each one of these chain 5s is a new section on itself. So to come back in the opposite direction is number 4. You're just gonna match stitch to stitch. So just remember, chain up 1, 1 single crochet gets a single crochet. If there is any stitches that drop down, that's also a single crochet, but any chains match exactly the chain count. So in this case, all the chains when they skip over 1 is gonna be just chaining up 2. And this one's a special one. It doesn't appear very often as chain 5. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then single in the next, and then just match stitch to stitch all the way across, and I'll see you at the end of row number 4. When you get all the way to the other side, before you finish that final stitch, just bring back the white into play again, and then you're just gonna finish that last stitch with the white so that it's ready to go, and you'll turn your work, and let's get ready for row number 5 and 6. So rows number 5 and 6 is when the true mosaic is about to start. So we're just gonna chain up 1, single crochet in the first one, and we're gonna chain 2 and create a space, and then we're immediately going to do a double crochet down into this single crochet that is just sitting there. So those chain 2 spaces indicate that a stitch is about to fall down. So you're just gonna go right in the front of there and just secure it in. You're gonna chain 2, skip the next one, and single crochet in the next, and then the next 4 in a row are each going to be 1 double crochet that links down, and then you single crochet the next one and then come down again, single crochet in the next one, chain 2 and come down again, and then you chain 2, come down, chain 2, single crochet in the next, and etc. And you keep repeating that all the way across. And then the final 2 that we have is that it'll be a chain 2 and then single crochet, and of course when we come back on number 6 it's just matching stitch to stitch. Let's begin row number 5. Let's begin row number 5. You're gonna chain up 1 and you're gonna single crochet in the first one, and we want to create an immediate space now. So you're just gonna chain 2 and skip the next single crochet and just come on down. So just drop down. So when you drop down, you just come right into the stitch. Just move these chains out of the way and stay on the front side of the work. Just grab onto the stitch and just double crochet. So they're not attached to each other. They're just, this is just lying right in front. So you're then going to chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next stitch. So whenever you chain 2 you're skipping over the stitch that it's over top of, if that helps you to know that. So the next 4 here that we need to drop down to, that's in front of the chain 5 spaces, just drop down. So double crochet 4 in a row. And once you get that done, this is the middle stitch, if that helps you to know that. That's the middle of a repeat. So the repeat starts over here, but this is the middle. Think about it like a mirror. So you're just gonna drop down the next 4. And you really start seeing the middle of each one of these repeating sections really soon, if you're not already. Okay, so if you need to know what's gonna happen next, look at the middle part like a mirror. So you can see that there was a single crochet before we started that, so there must be one on this side, and that's what it states in the pattern. So if that helps you to know that, that's awesome. So chain 2, that counts as this one, so we're just gonna immediately jump down in the next one after that, and then we're gonna chain 2 and we're gonna jump over the next single crochet, and this is the start of the repeat. Like that, and then chain 2, skip the next one and single into the next one after that. So you can kind of get a glimpse of what's going on here. So the next 4 in a row are just dropping down. The next one is 1 single crochet in the next, and then the next 4 drop down. So you just keep repeating these sets of 16 stitches over and over, and single crochet in the next. Okay, and chain 2 to jump over the next single crochet. You're creating a space for next time, and then jumping down. So chain 2, skip the next one, and then just single crochet in the last, when you get all the way to the other side. So you can see that the balance point, so just think about this is one set of 16, and then this is another. So just turn your work now and do row number 6. It's just stitch to stitch. So if it's a single crochet, keep it a single crochet. If there's any dropping down stitches, those are also single crochet. So chain 2 to jump over any spaces, and just make sure that it works out for you. So just continue to do this all the way across. If it helps you, just lean it forward if you need to double check to see what the stitches are, and that's just really quite helpful. So complete row number 6 for me and meet me back up at the start, and we'll start number 7 and 8. When you come up to number 6, make sure you drop that yarn and just grab the other yarn color and finish that stitch, and then turn your work, and let's begin. And we're back on the front side of this work, and let's go back to the diagram. So let's do number 7. So we're gonna chain up 1, single crochet in the first one. So you see these chain 2 spaces that we left, we know that we're gonna have to drop down when we see those, and then just make sure you keep adding your chain 2 spaces and start creating new spaces that you see. This chaining of 3 that we have, we're only gonna skip 2. This chaining of 3 does not exist a lot, so that's not something that you're gonna have to keep your eyes on the 5s and the 3s and the 2s. This particular section doesn't happen very often. You're going to then just skip over 2, single crochet in the next 3, and then chaining a 3, skipping over 2, single crochet in the next, chain 2, skip over next, and then drop. So there's not very many drop downs in this because it's getting our pattern established, and it's actually a pretty fun row. So when you get to the very end, the last stitch, 2 stitches, there will be a drop down and then a single, and then you just turn it around for number 8 and match stitch to stitch. Let's begin number 7. Let's begin number 7. You're gonna chain up 1, and it's gonna be 1 single crochet in the first one, and now let's play with our drop downs. So these chain 2 indicate that there should be a drop down, and the chart says that as well. So once you drop down, you're gonna single crochet in the next one, and then you're gonna drop down again after that and fill that space in. So now we're gonna chain 2, skip only 1 stitch. So if you're not sure what ones you're skipping, you'll see that there's a chain 2. So this is the first one after the chain 2. So if you have to skip a stitch, that's the one you need to skip, and then you just go into the one after that. Now we're gonna be establishing the very center of this particular repeat of 16. So you're just gonna chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and skip only 2, 1, 2, and go to the third one and do 3 in a row. And if you're not sure about that, if you look, this here is right in the center. These 3 are also in the center. So once we're now getting established, it's gonna be easier and easier to see where you are. Now you're just gonna treat it like a mirror. So if you just did chain 3 to get there, you're gonna chain 3 to exit out of there. So skipping 2 and single crochet into the next one, and then chain 2, skip the next one, and then drop down. Okay, single crochet in the next one, and this indicates that I'm in the between of a repeat. So I'm just gonna come down and drop, and then single crochet in the next, and then come down and drop. If it helps you to keep an eye on the stitch markers of where the repeat starts, just continue to pull up your stitch marker so that you can keep an eye on that. So let's do this repeat section one more time. So this is what it looks like. So we're gonna do it one more time. So let's begin again. So just chain up 2, skip the next one, skip and single crochet in the next one after that, chain 3, skipping only 2 and single crochet in the next 3 in a row. Chain 3, skip 2, 1, 2, and go to the next one after that, chain 2 and just drop down. Sorry about that. So after you do the drop down, single crochet in the next, and then when you get to the very end, the last 2 stitches will be a drop down and then a single crochet. So make sure that when you're looking across, you'll see that where it's in between a repeat, you'll see that there's gonna be a section that appears to be 3, and on the ends you'll see that there's only 2. So that's kind of a neat way to look at it. So let's turn our work and do row number 8, matching stitch to stitch and chains to chain. So match the chain count numbers and the stitches as you're going across it. It's each one single crochet in each, if that helps you to know that. When you get to the end of row number 8, don't forget to change over your yarn and turn it over, and let's begin row number 9 and 10. As we begin number 9, I want you to know that if you want this concept, number 9 is the starting of this repeat all the way through 48. You'll stop at 48 and return back to 9, and when you're satisfied with this and get it to the length that you want, you'll go 9 all the way to 54 to get it to the final point on the other side. Row number 9, we're gonna chain up 1 and 1 single into there, and then we're gonna create a space. So chain 2, jumping over the next one, single crochet the next 2, and then jumping down, chain 2, jump down twice, chain 2, single crochet in the next. So there is the middle point of a repeat of a 16, then chain 2, and then jump down twice, chain 2, jump down again, and then single crochet in the next 2, and then you keep repeating that all the way across. The very final 2 stitches here will be a chain 2 and a single crochet, and of course number 10 matching stitch to stitch. Let's begin number 9. So let's begin number 9. We're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna single crochet in the first one, and then we're gonna create a new space. So chain 2 and skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2 after that. We're now gonna start a lot of drop downing. So let's begin. We're gonna drop down the next one, and then we are going to chain 2 and then drop down the next 2 in a row. Just like you see. And then we're going to chain 2, and now the middle one here, there's 3 stitches in a row. It's the middle one of the 3 that you'll go into, and then chaining a 2 and then dropping down for the next 2 in a row. You will then chain 2 and then drop down again. So lots of drop downs today in this particular row, and then you're going to single crochet the next 2 in a row, and you can see that this is where the repeat is based on the stitch marker from before. Chain up 2, skip the middle one of that group, and then just single crochet the next 2 in a row. So we're just passing the repeat of this going all the way across. So then you're gonna do what you already did before. So you're gonna drop down, chain 2, drop down the next 2, chain 2, and then you got the middle grouping of 3 again. This is the middle of a repeat of the 16 repeat, single crochet, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets going down, so 2 drops, chain 2, drop again, and then single crochet the next 2. And if this is the very end for you, you'll just chain 2, skip the next one, and single right into the last. So you can see this is what it will look like at this moment. So turn your work for number 10 and just match stitch to stitch and the chain counts to chain counts. When you get to the end of row number 10, change your yarn back, turn it around, and inspect your work. Make sure everything looks good. If you want to move up your stitch markers to indicate the middles, you should do that too, and that might make your life a little bit easier. Again, your call. It's not something I don't think I would do on my own, but it's something that is an option if that's something that may confuse you. Let's move on to now 11 and 12. So let's begin number 11. We're gonna chain up one single in the first one, and we're gonna drop down. So there's lots of drop downs because we were creating a lot of chain 2 spaces the last row. So we're gonna then chain 2 after that drop, and then single crochet in the next 2, drop, chain 2, single in the second one over because you're skipping that one, drop, chain 2, so this is the middle, and then drop in the next one, and then single crochet the next, chain 2, drop again, and single crochet in the next 2, and then chain 2, skip, and then drop again, and that's your repeat. And finally the last 2, if you have a drop and then you have a single at the end, and then just return and match stitch to stitch for number 12. Let's do number 11 next. Let's start row number 11. You're gonna chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in the first one. Look at those chain 2 spaces as you're seeing them. Those are all having drops. So we're gonna drop the next one and then immediately chain 2. You're gonna skip the next single crochet and single crochet in the next 2 after that one. You're really gonna start seeing it coming out. So you can see the chain 2 space, so we're gonna drop down, chain 2, skip in the next single crochet, go to the second one over and single in, and then drop down, chain 2, and then drop into the next one. So this is the middle of the 16 repeat, you can see that. And then continuing along, you're gonna single crochet in the next single, chain 2, and then drop, just like that. You're gonna single crochet in the next 2, and then chain 2, skip the next one, and then just drop. So this is the, you can see it's right in the center. This is the repeat again. So if you want to move up your stitch marker, those are the repeat section, so you can see it next time. And then you just keep on moving across just like how you just did it. So chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2 in a row, drop down, chain 2, skip the next one, single crochet in the next one after that, and then drop, chain 2, this is the center of another 16 repeat, and then drop in the next one after that, you see that, and then single crochet in the next one after that, chain 2, drop again, so you're skipping that one and dropping to the next, single crochet in the next 2 in a row, chain 2, drop again, so skipping the next one and dropping. This is the very end, if you once you get all the way to the end, and then single crochet in the last. So take a quick look here. Does it make sense? Yes or no? And if not, then this is the time to fix. And if you're satisfied, just turn it number 12 and just match stitch to stitch using the same color, and I'll see you at the end of number 12. So from this forward, I'm going to then just change over my yarn color without really telling you to do so. So I'm gonna assume that's gonna be that's something that you're going to do. So just make sure you do that going forward. Let's move on now to 13 and 14. You're gonna chain up 1 and single crochet into the first, and you're gonna create a new space. So chain 2, jump over the next, and then drop down, chain 2, single crochet into the next 2, so make sure that you are skipping, and then drop down, chain 2, skip one and then single crochet in the next, drop down, single crochet in the next. So this is the middle of a repeat of a 16, and then single crochet the one after that. I don't know if I said that already. So chain 2 and then drop down, single crochet in the next 2, chain 2 and then drop down, and then this is your repeat. So chain 2 and then drop down, and etc. So you're just gonna keep doing that, and then at the very end you'll have a chain 2 space and a single crochet, and then you're gonna turn your stitches, or you're gonna turn your work 14 match stitch to stitch and chain to chain. Let's begin number 13. Let's begin row number 13. You're gonna chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in the first one, and then chain 2, skip the next one and then drop. Chain 2 after that, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2, and then you're gonna drop. Chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the one after that, and then drop. So this is the very center of a 16 repeat. So let's continue along. You're gonna single crochet in the next one after that, chain 2, single crochet or drop down, and then single crochet in the next 2, chain 2 and then drop down, and then you're nearly at the repeat. So chain 2, so you're gonna skip over the next one and then drop down. So right now we're in between the 2 repeats. You can see that with the stitch marker, and so what we've just done over here we're gonna redo on this side once again. So chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2, drop down, chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet the next one there, and then drop, single crochet in the next one after that, and then chain 2 and then drop, single crochet in the next 2 in a row, chain 2 and then drop, and then eventually you get to the very end. So chain up 2, skip the next one and single crochet into the last. So take a quick boo and see if that works, and then turn your work, match stitch to stitch and chain to chain for number 14. Number 15 and 16, chain up 1, 1 single into the first, then drop down, single into the next, and then drop down, chain 2, single crochet into those 2 there, and then drop down, chain 2, single into the next, chain 2, drop down. So when these chains exist, just keep in mind that they are skipping over stitches underneath. Single crochet in the next 2, chain 2, so skip, drop down, single crochet in the next, and then here is the repeat pattern. So we're just gonna drop down, single crochet in the next, drop down again, and then continue along. So at the very end of this row you'll have 1 drop down and a single that's outside of the repeat pattern, and then just turn your work and do number 16, stitch to stitch, chain to chain, chain to chain. Let's begin row number 15, chain up 1, 1 single crochet into the first, and then we're gonna drop. You can see the chain 2 that's there, so you just drop in front of it, single crochet in the next single crochet, and then drop, chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2, and then drop, chain 2, and then you have 3 in the middle, so just go to the middle one of the 3. So skip the first one, and then we're gonna chain 2 and then drop, and single crochet the next 2 in a row, chain 2 and then skip the next one and then drop, and then single crochet in the next one, and then you can see we're at the middle here for in between the repeat. So you're just gonna drop down, single crochet in the next one, and then you're gonna drop down again, chain 2, skip 1 and single crochet in the next 2, drop down, and then you are going to then chain 2. The grouping of 3 that you see, you're gonna get the middle one, so skip the next one and go to the middle one, and then chain 2 and then drop again. Single crochet in the next 2 in a row. Chain 2 and then drop. And you just keep repeating that all the way across, and single crochet in the next, and the final 2 you'll have a drop and single crochet in the last. So just take a quick look. Does that make sense? Yes or no? If it doesn't, just make it work. Go back and fix it, and just keep moving up your stitch markers if you want to keep an eye on that, and then just turn your work and match stitch to stitch, chain to chain for number 16. Let's go to row number 17. We're just gonna chain up 1, single crochet in the first, chain 2 to create a new space, single crochet in the next 2, and then drop, chain 2, single crochet in the next 2, and then drop down, chain 2, drop down, single crochet in the next 2 here, chain 2, drop, single crochet in the next 2, and then you're at the midway point and you just keep on repeating. The very last one here is there's gonna be a chain 2 space and then a single crochet, and then you're gonna turn your work for number 18, match stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin number 17. Let's begin number 17. You're just gonna chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in the first one, and we want to create a new space. So chain 2, skip over the next one, and single crochet in the next 2 in a row. Now we're gonna do a drop down and then chain 2 after that. Skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2. And then you're gonna do a drop down followed by a chain 2 and then another drop down. Single crochet in the next 2 in a row. So you can kind of really see the mirroring effect really turning out now. So chaining 2, skip the next one and drop down, and single crochet the next 2, and this is the midway point between a repeat, so chain 2 to create a new space, and then jumping over the next one and single crochet the next 2. So that chain 1 space is now the repeat. This is the stitch between the repeats, and now you just keep on repeating what you already know. So we're just gonna drop down, chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet the next 2 in a row. You're gonna drop down, this is the middle, chain 2 and then dropping down, single crochet in the next 2, chain 1 or chain 2, skip the next one and then drop, single crochet the next 2 in a row, and then create a new space by chaining 2 and skip the next one and go to the last. And then just take a quick look, make sure it makes sense. That was row number 17. Turn and work number 18, match stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin to do row number 19, and you're just gonna chain up 1 and single crochet in the next. You're gonna drop down, chain 2, then you're gonna single crochet in the next 2, drop down, chain 2, single crochet in the next 2, drop down, single crochet in the next 2. Just keep an eye in this section here, it's actually really neat. And then chain in 2, drop down, single crochet in the next 2, chain 2. Your repeat is just gonna continue to repeat, and the final 2 stitches will be a drop down and a single, and turn your work on number 20, stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin number 19. Let's begin number 19. You're gonna chain up 1 and 1 single in the first one, and then you're just gonna drop down, chain 2 to create a new space, skip the next one and single crochet the next 2 after that, and then drop down, chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet the next 2 in a row, and this will be the middle of the 16 repeat. So you're just gonna drop down and then single crochet the next 2 after that. So you can see how it's really kind of expanding now. Pretty cool, right? So you're gonna chain 2, skip the next one and then drop, just like that, single crochet the next 2 in a row, and then chain 2, you're coming too close to the middle here, you can see the line. So you're just gonna skip the next one and single crochet right into, or sorry, double crochet, do a drop. So it's a drop there, chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet the next 2 in a row. So if you have to move your stitch markers, now's the time to do it. So you can keep an eye on it. And then continue to move on. So the next one is a drop. And then chain 2 to create a new space, skip the next one, singles in the next 2. This is again a middle of the 16 repeat. Single crochet in the next 2. And then chain 2, skip the next one and then drop. Single crochet in the next 2. Chain 2 and then drop down. This will be the final 2 stitches, so it's a drop and then a single in the end, just like that. So take a quick look, make sure that makes sense, and then just turn your work, match stitch to stitch, chain to chain for number 20. Let's begin row number 20. You're gonna chain up 1 single in the first 2, drop, chain 2, you're gonna skip 1, single crochet in the next 2, drop, chain 2, and then you're gonna skip 1 and put 3 in a row, so it's kind of a middle section here. Chain 2, then drop, single crochet in the next 2, chain 2, skip, and then drop, and then there's the repeat. So continue that across. The last 2 stitches here after you're done all the repeats is 2 single crochets, and then 22 is match stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin number 21. We're just gonna chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in the first 2. And then drop down. Chain 2, skip 1 and single crochet in the next 2, and then drop down, chain 2, and then skip 1 and the next 3 in a row are the middle, and it's just 1 single crochet each. Chain 2, skip, and then drop, single crochet in the next 2, chain 2, skip the next one and then drop, and then we're at the beginning of a repeat again. So single crochet the next one. So there is the repeat section right there. So we're gonna drop in the next, chain 2, skip the next and single crochet in the next 2 after that, and then dropping down, chain 2, skip the next and single crochet the next 3 in a row. So this is the middle of the next 16 repeat, chain 2, drop, single crochet in the next 2, and then chain 2, and then drop, and then the very final 2 stitches are just gonna be a single crochet each. So just take a look. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Turn your work. Number 22 is stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin this and we'll see you back here in just a moment. Let's go for rows number 23, 24. So we're gonna chain up 1, 3 single crochets in a row. We're gonna drop, chain 2, single crochet the next there, drop, chain 2, skip 1. This is right in the middle, so we'll single crochet, chain 2, drop. You're gonna do your single crochets, chain 2, drop, and single crochet 3 in a row. That's kind of neat, right? So then you'll do your repeat all the way across. The last 2 stitches will be 2 single crochets. Turn your work stitch to stitch, chain to chain for number 24. Let's begin number 23 next. Let's begin row number 23. Just gonna chain up 1 and in the first 3 you'll do a single crochet in each. And then you're gonna do a drop down. So drop and then chain 2. Skip 1 and single crochet the next 2, and then drop, chain 2, skip the next one. There's 3 there, so you're just gonna go to the middle one of the grouping of 3, single crochet, chain 2 to skip the next one, and then drop, and single crochet in the next 2, chain 2, and then skip the next one and then drop, and then the next 3 in a row. This is right in the middle of a repeat. If you want to move your stitch marker, now's the time to do it. And then continue along. So let's just continue this. So you're just gonna drop in the next one, chain 2, skip the next one, single crochet in the next 2 after that, drop, chain 2, skip the next one, single in the next. That's the grouping of 3. That's right in the center point of a 16. Chain 2, drop, single crochet in the next 2, chain 2 to create a space, skip the next one and then drop. And you're gonna do that all the way across, and then the very final 2 stitches, the next one's gonna be a single, and then the final 2 stitches, if this is the end, will be 2 single crochets in a row. So just take a quick look. Does that make sense? Yes or no? And then turn your work and match stitch to stitch, chain to chain for number 24. Okay, let's begin row number 25, 26. So you're gonna chain up 1 single in the first, chain 2, skip, single crochet the next 2, drop, chain 2, single in the next 2 after that, then drop, chain 2, drop, single crochet the next 2 after that, chain 2, drop, single crochet the next 2, and then there's your repeat. So the very final of this will be a chain 2 and 1 single crochet at the end. Turn your work for the number 26, stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin number 25. Let's begin number 25. You're just gonna chain up 1 single in the first. You're gonna create a new space, so chain 2, skip the next one, and single in the next 2 after that. You're then going to drop and then chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2 after that. Okay, now you're gonna drop, chain 2 and drop into the next one. You're then going to single crochet the next 2 in a row, and then chain 2 and then skip the next one and then drop. Single crochet the next 2 after that, and then you're at the halfway point of a repeat. So here's the repeating. So you're going to chain 2, create a space, skip over that one, and then single crochet the next one. And if you have to move up your stitch marker to keep count, that's up to you. You want to drop down and then chain 2, and then I want to continue along. I'm just losing my spot here, so skip 1, single crochet the next 2 in a row, and then I want to drop down. I have a knot in my ball coming up, so you will see that in just a moment. I'm gonna just keep on moving though. If this is a real one, I would cut that right out. I wouldn't leave this in. Okay, and then I want to single crochet the next 2 in a row, chain 2, skip the next one and then drop, and then single crochet in the next 2. And then if this is the end for you, then you're just gonna chain 2 and then single crochet in the next one after that, which is the last. So take a quick look. Does it look right? Yes or no? If not, fix it, and then turn your work for number 26 and match stitch to stitch, chain for chain. So let's take a look at 27 and 28, and when you look at this diagram, where we are on this is we're almost near the halfway point of doing this, and we're gonna be doing then the reflection of this. And if you want to do these diamond shapes over and over and over, remember it's rows 1 through 48 first time, and then 9 through 48 to continue it along. So when we go to look at the diagram here, we're going to chain up 1 and we're gonna single crochet the first one and drop down. We're now gonna reintroduce those chaining 3s once again. So then that means you skip 2, single crochet in the last one here, drop down, chain 2, single crochet the next 2, drop down, single crochet the next 2, chain 2, drop, single crochet the next, and then chain 3 and then drop. This is the midway point between repeating of 16, chain 3, and etc. So watch out for those chain 3s. It's kind of we're reintroducing those back in there for a short time frame. Number 27 and then number 28, just turn your work stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin number 27. You're gonna chain up 1 single in the first and then drop. Now you're gonna chain 3, So 1, 2 and 3, skipping 2, 1 and 2 and go to the third over, and then dropping down, chain 2, skipping 1 and single crochet in the next 2 in a row, and then you're gonna drop down and you will see this will create the middle spot of a diamond. Single crochet in the next 2, chain 2 to skip the next one and then drop, and then single crochet in the next one right after it. And as we're hitting towards the center of between a repeat, you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and you're skipping over these 2 and immediately just dropping down, just like that. Now you're going to continue to repeat this on the other side. If you need to move stitch markers, now's a great time to do it so you can see it. And then continue across. So to continue across, you're just going to chain 3 again, skipping 2, 1, 2, go to the third, and you're going to single crochet, drop down in the next, chain 2, skip 1 and single crochet in the next 2, and then you're in the middle of this repeat. So drop down, single crochet in the next 2, and then chain 2, skip the next one and drop. Then you're going to single crochet and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, skipping the next 2, and then just immediately just drop. And if this is the end for you, so the last second last one is a drop and then single. So turn your work for number 28 and then continue just stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Remember those chain 3 spaces, don't forget those. Make sure that you do chain 3 as you jump over those. Let's begin rows number 29 and 30. Chain up 1 single in the first, create a new space by chaining 2, dropping in the next 2 in a row, single in the next, chain 2, drop, single crochet in the next 2 here, and then chaining 2, and then single in the next 2, drop, chain 2, single in the next, and then the next 2 in a row are each going to be 2 drops, and then this is your repeat. So at the very end of this you'll have a chain 2 space that you'll create and a single crochet, and then row number 30 you'll just match chain to chain, stitch, stitch, stitch. Let's begin number 29. You're going to chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in the first one and then chain 2, skip the next one and then drop into the next 2 available to you down there. This is going to create a really good visual break for your project. Single crochet in the next and then chain 2, skip the next and then drop, single crochet in the next 2 and chain 2, skip, single crochet in the next 2 and then drop. Okay, chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next one, and then just dropping down for the next 2. Okay, so you're at the midway point of a repeat, so you're just gonna chain 2 to jump and then just come to the next one on the other side of that and just come down and do 2 in a row, and then single crochet in the next one right after it. Chain 2, skip the next one and then jump down, drop down, and then continuing along the next 2 in a row are single crochets. Create a new space by chaining 2, jump, and the next 2 are singles, and then drop down, chain 2, skip the next one, and then single crochet in the next one after that, and then drop down for 2 in a row again, and then if this is the very end for you, you're just gonna chain 2 and single crochet that one. So you can take a look at it, see if it makes sense. Turn your work, do number 30, stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin number 31 and 32. Chain up 1 single in the first, then drop, single crochet in the next 2, chain 2, drop, single crochet in the next 2, chain 2 space, drop, chain 2 space, and next 2 single crochet, then drop, chain 2 space, and then single crochet in the next 2. You're going to continue to do that all the way across. The very final stitch will be a drop down and a single crochet. You'll turn your work number 32, stitch to stitch, chain the chain. Let's begin number 31. Let's begin number 31. You're just going to chain up one single in the first, and then drop in the next one, and then single crochet the next 2 in a row. Chain 2 like that, and then skip the next one, and then drop, and then single crochet the next 2 in a row, and then chain 2, and then drop, skip the next one, and then drop. This is the middle of a 16, chain 2, skip the next one, single crochet the next 2, then drop, and then chain 2, skip the next one, and then single crochet the next 2 in a row, and then this is the middle of a repeat. So you're just gonna drop down, pick it up. You may want to move your stitch markers up if you want to do that at this time. Keep an eye on it. Because I'm sitting here filming all in one spot, it's kind of easy, but you know, it's when you get distracted with people bothering you and you know, commercials and stuff that it helps to have this kind of information. So just chaining, sorry, 2 single crochets in a row, chain 2, and then skip the next one and then drop, single crochet the next 2 in a row, chain 2, skip the next one and then drop, chain 2, skip the next one, single crochet the next 2 in a row. So that was the middle of a repeat. And then you're just gonna drop, chain 2 to create a new space, skip the next one, single crochet in the next one, 2 after that, and then if this is the very end for you, the next one will be a drop, and then a single in the last. So take a quick looky look, see if it makes sense. Turn around, do number 32, stitch to stitch, chain the chain. Let's begin number 33, 34. So we're gonna chain up one single in the first 3, chain up 2, create the space, and then drop down. Single crochet in the next 2, chain 2 to create the space, and then drop down, single in the next, and then drop, chain 2 to create a space, and then singles, 2 singles in a row, then drop, then create a space, and then single in the next, and this is your repeat. So you'll go all the way across. The last 2 stitches will be 2 single crochets, and then just turn your work for number 34, stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin 33. Let's begin number 33. You're just gonna chain up 1, and then you'll begin and 3 single crochets in a row, and then you're gonna chain 2, create a space, and then skip the next one, and then just drop, single crochet in the next 2, chain 2, skip the next one, and then drop, single crochet in the next, and then drop. So that's the middle. So now you can see that middling effect right there. Do you see that? You see how it's gonna work out? It's really neat. So let's begin to do this next. So now you're gonna chain 2, and then skip the next and single crochet the next 2 after that, and then drop, chain 2, skip 1 and single crochet in the next 3 that are available to you, and you're gonna pass the repeating line. So you may want to move up your stitch marker now, and then continue along on the other side. So chain 2, skip the next, and then drop like so, and then single crochet the next 2 in a row, create a space, chain 2, skip the next one, and then drop, single crochet in the next one, and then drop in the next one, just like you see, and then chain 2, skip the next one, and single crochet the next 2 in a row, and then drop, chain 2, skip the next one, and the next 3 in a row are a single crochet. So just keep an eye on it, make sure it looks right, and then we're gonna continue then on, and let's move on to number turn your work, do number 34, stitch to stitch, chain to chain, and let's continue along. 35 and 36, let's begin. Chain up 1, 2 singles in a row, then create a space, and then drop 2 singles, then create a space, chain 2, drop 3 single crochets in a row, drop, create a space, chain 2, 2 singles in a row, drop, and then chain 2, and then skip this. So they're in the middle here, the repeat, so there's gonna be a single crochet, and then on the other side of the repeat it's 2 chain 2s on the other side as well. So you'll continue that all the way across. The last 2 stitches are 2 single crochets in a row, and then 36 is stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin number 35. Let's begin row number 35. Chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in each of the next 2, and then create a space, so chain 2, and then I want you to drop down. So let's just drop there, drop down for a second. So come out and drop down, single crochet the next 2 in a row, chain 2 to create a space, skip the next one, and then drop. And then the next 3 in a row are single crochets, and then drop. Then chain 2 to create a space, skip the next one, single crochet the next 2 in a row, and then drop. Chain 2 to create a space. You can see you're gonna skip the next one. Here's the grouping of 3, it's right in between where 16 repeats. So single crochet in the middle one, chain 2, and then restart again with what we already know. So skipping the next one and then just dropping. Chain single crochet the next 2, chain 2, skip the next one, drop down, single crochet the next 3 in a row, drop down, 2 single crochets in a row, sorry, 2 chain 2, sorry, I've been thinking about something else. So skip 1 stitch, single crochet the next 2 in a row. I watched the documentary last night, it was kind of ran in my head. So drop down in the next one, and then chain 2 to skip the next one, and then the last 2 stitches are 2 singles each, and then just turn your work and do row number 36 and chain to chain, stitch to stitch. Let's review number 37, 38. So chaining up 1, 1 single into the next, create a space with the chain 2, drop in the next, 2 single crochets in a row, chain 2 to create a space, drop, 2 single crochets in a row, create a space, then 2 singles in a row, drop, 2 chains in a row, so chain 2 space and 2 singles, and then drop. This is the repeat that you see, and then at the very end of this one there's gonna be a chain 2 space and then a single, and then you'll turn your work and go back and do number 28 with chain to chain, stitch to stitch. Let's begin number 37. Let's begin row number 37. I've already chained 1 and I'm just gonna single crochet in the first one. Create a chain space, so chain 2, and then just jump over that one and just double crochet, drop down. I've just had a quick lunch break here, so I'm just moving on. So single crochet in the next 2, so 1 and 2, and then chain 2, skip the next one and then drop down, single crochet in the next 2, and then chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2, and then drop down, just like you see. So we've just now passed the middle section of a 16 repeat. So let's continue along. So chain 2, skip the next one, single crochet in the next 2, and then drop down in the next. And now we're just about to hit the repeat section, so chain 2 to jump over, and then just drop down in the next one that's available to you. If you want to move that stitch marker up, you can. Let's continue on the other side, starting a repeat again. So you're just gonna single crochet the next 2, chain 2, skip the next one and then drop down, single crochet the next 2, chain 2 to jump, and that's the middle section here, so it's skipping over the next one. So single crochet the next 2 and then dropping down and then continue along. So chain 2 to skip the next one, single crochet the next 2 and then drop, and just keep repeating that across. And if you're at the very end like I am, then you're just gonna chain 2 and single crochet in the last one. So we're gonna turn our work, do number 38, just stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's do that and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. Let's move along to row number 39. You're gonna chain up 1, single crochet in the first one and then drop, single crochet in the next 2, then create a chain 2 space, the drop, single crochet in the next 2, create a chain 2 space, drop, chain 2 space, single crochet in the next 2, drop, single crochet or chain 2 space, and the next 2 are single crochet, and then you're gonna drop as you start the repeat of this over and over. At the very end of this row, the last 2 stitches are a drop and a single crochet, and then row number 40 you are going to turn your work and match chain to chain, stitch to stitch. Let's begin number 39. To begin number 39, you're gonna chain up 1 single in the first, and then you are going to drop into the first space and then single crochet the next 2 in a row. Let's create a new space, so chain 2, skip the next one and then drop, and then single crochet in the next 2 and then create another space, so chain 2 and then skip the next one and then drop. It's in the middle section of the 16 repeat, chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2 and drop, chain 2 and skip 1 and single crochet the next 2, and then the next stitch is directly in the middle of the repeat, so just drop down, and if you want to move your stitch marker to mark that, that's a great idea to do that if you want to. Okay, let's keep on going. So you're just gonna single crochet the next 2 on the other side and then chain 2, create the space, skip the next one and drop, and then single crochet the next 2 in a row and create a new chain 2 space, skip the next one and then drop. This is the middle of this chain 16 repeat, chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet the next 2 and then immediately drop, chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet the next 2, and then if this is the end for you, your second last stitch will be a drop down, and then the last one is a single. And that's what we have so far. Does that make sense? If not, fix it and let's keep on moving. So number 40 is chain to chain, stitch to stitch, and I'll see you at the end of this row, number 40. Let's begin number 41 and 42. You're gonna chain 1, single crochet in the first and then create a space, so chain 2, single crochet in the next, create another space, chain 2 and then drop, single crochet in the next 2, create a chain 2 space, drop, single in the next, drop, chain 2 space, and next 2 are singles, drop, chain 2 space, and then single, and this is the repeat, so you want to keep doing this. And then at the very end of the repeat, the last 2 stitches are a chain 2 space and a single crochet, and then 42 match stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's begin 41. Let's begin number 41, chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in the first, and then chain 2, create that space, skip the next one and single, and then create another chain 2 space, and then skip the next one and then drop, single crochet in the next 2 and then chain 2, skip the next one and then drop, single crochet in the next one and then drop again. This is the middle of a 16 repeat, and then let's carry on. So chain 2, create that space, skip the first one, single crochet in the next 2 and then drop again, chain 2 to create the space, and then skip the next one and single crochet in the next, and then you're at the midway point between 16 repeats. To keep on going, chain 2, skip the middle one, this is where it does the repeat, single crochet in the second one over, and then chain 2, skip the next one and then just drop down. So let's carry on. you are going to then single crochet the next 2 in a row, chain 2 to create the space, and then drop. So you're skipping that one and then dropping down, single crochet in the next one. This is the middle of this particular one of 16. Drop on the other side of it, chain 2, skip the first one and single crochet in the next 2, and then you want to drop and then chain 2, skip the next one, single in the next, chain 2 again, skip the next one, and then single in the last. So just take a look, see if that makes sense. And then let's continue. Turn 42 is just stitch to stitch, chain to chain. I'll see you back here in just a moment. Let's move on to 43 and 44. Chain up 1, 1 single in the first, and then drop, create that space, and then drop. 2 singles in a row, and then chain space, and then drop, single in the next, create that chain space that's right in the middle of this grouping of 16, then single in the next, then drop, chain 2 space, 2 singles in the next, 2 singles in a row I mean, and then drop down and then chain 2 space. This is your repeat, and at the end of this one you'll have a drop down and a single at the end of the row. Let's begin number 43, 44, and remember turn around, match stitch to stitch, chain the chain. Okay, let's begin number 43. So chain up 1, 1 single in the first, drop down for the first one, and then create a chain 2 space, and then just jump over the next stitch and then just directly back down into the next one after that. And then single crochet in the next 2 in a row, and then chain 2, skip the next one, and then go down, and then I want you to single crochet in the next one, chain 2. So this is the middle one of the grouping of 3, so skip that one and then single into the one after it, and then drop again. So you really can see the diamond shapes starting to really form. And we're almost at the end of the repeat as well. So chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2, and then drop. And then chain 2 and skip the next one right there, and then this is the middle of the repeating. So this is in between the repeats, so you can move up your stitch markers if you wish. And then keep on moving. So chain 2, and then you want to skip this next one and then drop, and then you're going to then single crochet in the next 2, and then chain 2 to create a space, skip that one and drop, single crochet in the next one. This is the middle of this one here, so chain 2, skip the next one and single into the next one after that, so keeping your middles all balanced, and then drop again, and then chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2, and then drop down, and you're going to keep repeating this all the way across. So chain 2, and that's the end of the repeat. So if so by the time you get all the way to the end, then you'll just want to double crochet down and then single crochet the last one like so. It's just so take a quick look, make sure it makes sense, and then turn your work. Number 44 is stitch to stitch, chain to chain. Let's go for number 45, 46. Chain up 1, 1 single in the first one, and then create a chain 2 space, and then drop, single crochet in the next 2, and then create a space, and then drop, single in the next, and then a space, drop, space, single in the next, drop, create a space, and singles here, and then drop. This is the repeat then going all the way across, and the very final stitch you'll have a chain 2 space and a single at the very end. And so then 46 is chain to chain, stitch to stitch. Please do this. Number 45. To begin number 45, chain up 1 and 1 single into the first one, and then you're going to create a chain 2 space, so jump over this next one and then drop after that one. Single crochet in the next 2, chain 2, and then skip the next one and then drop, just like you see. So now we're gonna single crochet in the next one, and then chain 2, skip the next one, and then drop, chain 2, skip the next one, and then single crochet in the next one after that, and then drop. So you can kind of see the peak of that happening there. So then chain 2 and skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2, and then drop down. And then this is the middle of the repeat, so chain 2 and then double crochet down, just like that. So single crochet in the next 2, this is the next repeat that we're starting, and then continue along, so chain 2 and then drop into the next, single crochet in the next one, chain 2, skip the next one and then drop, and then chain 2, skip the next one and then single, and then drop again. Okay, so let's continue along. So we're going to then, sorry, I just lost my place for a second. We're then going to chain 2, skip the next one and single crochet into the next 2, and then drop down. And you'll do that all the way across, and then the final 2 stitches will be chain 2 and then single into the last. So you'll turn your work and you will do row number 46, stitch to stitch, chain to chain, and then 47 and 48 will be the final repeat of doing it if you want to do that whole alternative special, and if not, then you just keep on coming going with me up all the way to 54. And even those doing the alternative, you'll want to be able to pay attention to 54 as well, because eventually you'll have to do it as well. So we're gonna go to 47 and 48. That's gonna be the last time if you want to do this, and then you're gonna repeat yourself going from 9 all the way to 48 once again, and when you're satisfied, then you'll want to go all the way to 54. So if you want to repeat back, you just have to go back to where you were and go to number 9, and 9 is to restart, and then you just follow it all the way back up once again. In 47, all we're just going to do then is that we are just gonna chain up 1 and drop in the next, 2 singles in a row, and then create a space and then drop. You'll want to create this chain 3 space, so that means that you're skipping over 2, and then drop, single in the next, drop, chain 3 space, that means you're skipping 2 again, and then drop, chain 2 space, and then singles in the next, and then this is your repeat going all the way across. At the end of this row you'll have 1 drop and then 1 single at the end, and 48 you'll just match stitch to stitch, chain to chain. This is the 47 start, and let's begin next. Let's begin 47. You're gonna chain up 1 and then put in 1 single crochet into the very first one, and then we want to drop down. So let me just start that. So drop, and then 2 singles in a row, and then chain 2, skip the next one, and then drop. So that's the, now it's gonna be the special one. So now we're gonna just chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, skip over the 2, and then you're just gonna immediately drop into the next one. You're gonna single in the next one. This is the middle here, and then drop like so. Chain 3 again, so 1, 2, 3. You want to skip these 2 and then immediately drop on the other side. Okay, so let's continue along. So chain 2, skip the next one, and single in the next 2 in a row. And then this here is where the line is for the repeat, so just drop on down and then to start again. So 2 singles in a row, and then what we want to do is create a chain 2 space. So chain 2, skip that, and then drop, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 2 and then drop, and then you want to single crochet in the next and then drop. Okay, and then chain 3 again, so 1, 2, 3, and skip the next 2 and then immediately drop. And then you have to then chain 2, single, skip the next one and single crochet in the next 2, and if this is the end of it for you, then you'll just want to drop down. So the last 2 is a drop and then a single. So just pull back and see if it makes sense. You see it really looks awesome now. And now we want to do 48, so turn around and stitch to stitch, chain for chain. Let's begin. Let's begin number 49. Remember, if you want those diamonds like that alternative, you'll want to go back to 9 right now, so don't do this. And if you want to finish your section here, then you're going to continue on. In number 49, you're going to chain up 1 and 1 single in the first, and then create a chain 2 space, and then single in the next, create a chain 2 space, and then drop, single crochet in the next, and then drop twice into the space that you see. 3 singles in a row, and then drop twice again, another single, and then drop, and then create another space, and then single. So you'll do this repeat all the way across, and then you will end up coming all the way across, and at the very final that you'll have a chain 2 space and a single right in the last 2. Let's continue to 49. Let's begin 49. You're going to chain up 1 and do 1 single in the first one, and then chain 2, skip the next one and single into the next one after that, and chain 2 again to create another space, and then drop, single crochet in the next one, and then drop twice in the next 2 there. So just go 1 and 2, and now the next 3 in a row, which is the middle section here, is each going to be 1 single crochet, and then drop again twice, and then single crochet in the next one, and then drop, and then chain 2, skip the next one, single crochet in the next one. This is the middle section here between the 16s, so chain 2 to jump over the middle one, single into the next, chain 2 to skip the next one, and then drop again. Okay, and then we're going to carry on, so you're going to single into the next, and then drop into the next 2, and then single crochet in the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then drop twice more, single crochet in the next one, and then drop again, and then create your spaces. So chain 2 space, so you're skipping over the next one, and then if this is the ending for you, if you want to keep this going all the way across, if this is the ending, chain 2, skip the second last one, and then single in the last. Turn your work and begin number 50. 50 is just stitch to stitch, chain to chain. I'll see you back here in just a moment. 51 and 52, here we go. We're just going to chain up 1 and single into the first, and then drop, chain 2, skip, and then drop, single crochet in the next. We're going to chain our 5 and only skip 4, just how we did in the very beginning, because we're coming to the end, and then single crochet into the 5th one away, chain 5 again, skip the 4, and then single into the 5th one away, and then drop, and then we're heading towards the repeat. So chain 2 to skip, and then just dropping right in the middle, and then keep repeating this to the end. At the very end you'll have a drop down and a single. So let's begin number 51. 51 and 52 are the last times you're going to be creating these spaces, because 53 and 54 is the final one. We return it back to a regular looking afghan. Let's begin number 51. You're going to chain up 1 and 1 single into the first, and then just drop on down, and then we want to chain 2, skip the next one, and then just immediately drop, and then single crochet into the next one, and we want to jump over 4 stitches, so chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, go to the 5th one, and then skipping over another 4 again, so chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, go to the 5th, and then drop down in the next, just like that, and then chain 2. So skipping over the next one, this is the middle line coming up between the 2 sections of 16s. So drop on down, chain 2, skip the next one, and then drop down the next one, just like that. So we want to keep on repeating what we already know. So single in the next, and then chain 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, go to the 5th, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and go to the 5th, and then just drop on down. And then chain 2, and then you want to drop on. So this is the end of the repeat, so you just keep repeating, and the very final 2 stitches it's a drop down and a single. So we're almost done. You can see that the balance is looking pretty awesome, and let's just turn our work, match stitch to stitch and chain to chain, and we have 2 more rows to go, and the final of this section would then be complete. So let's do 53 and 54. It's the final. What we're going to do is that we're just gonna go across and we're gonna drop down all in the spaces. So we're gonna chain up one single in the next first 2 and then drop. The difference of this one here is that we're not creating any chain 2 spaces anymore, because in 54 we're gonna bring ourselves with 1 single crochet all the way across, and then you're just gonna pick it up. So you can either pick it up in pattern 2 or pattern 3 depending where you are in the Afghan, and if this is an alternative version you can just do whatever you want from that particular point. So let's do 53 and 54. So let's begin 53. You're just gonna chain up 1 and 1 single in each of the first 2. I'm not creating any chain 2 spaces, so I'm looking where all the spacing is and just immediately just dropping down. So I'll drop down in the next one, and then I have 2 single crochets in a row, and then the next 4 are just a drop down. Okay, I'm gonna single in the next one, and then the next 4 are again a drop down. And then single in the next 2, and then drop, and then single. I'm right at the between the 2 layers there, so I'm gonna drop again. I'm gonna single in the next 2 and then drop another 4. And then single in the next one, and then drop another 4. Single in the next 2, and so you just can keep on repeating this all the way across, just filling in the spots, and then just single crochet in the last 2. So that's it. Looks pretty awesome, right? So then you're just gonna turn your work and do row number 54. It's just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way across, just how you started off before you did the section, and then we're gonna continue along, and I will just quickly demonstrate the border as well. So here's where we are. So the whole panel section that is done right from start to finish, and you can see my original, my practice sample. Obviously it looks the same. So you'll want to continue along in the pattern and be able to maintain it so that you have balance if you're gonna do it exactly as the pattern is suggesting, so you can look at the instructions for that. But eventually you'll have to come to the border, and we're gonna cover the border next in this, because you'll want to cover up over top of these strands that we've been dragging along all the way. So let's move on to the border next. So the border is really quite simple, and it's just 4 rounds, and they're just single crochet rounds. The only difference is at the corners you have to put 3 single crochets so it can turn. So I'm just gonna show you this side here because if this is an advanced level project, so chances are you know how to do all this already. So what we want to do is that I would start anywhere that you want, so the right side facing up, and just start off in the corner, just attach to join, and just put in 3 single crochets in the very first one, and that's part of your turn. So as you're making your way up, this is single crochet, so pretty much every row has a single crochet, but if you feel like it's buckling you can always skip over a row just to have that balance. When you get to items like this, just go right up over top of the strands itself so that it gets stuck underneath the stitching. So don't be shy about that, just kind of bury it so it gets stuck up underneath, and the entire border is made up of the same color. So just pick up these traveling strands and just make sure that they go up underneath the stitches as you're working your way across like that. So you want to take your time and make it look good, and just equally space them out if you can do so. And as soon as you get enough strands in there, just keep on moving. So I had my starting strands all buried up in there too. So I'm just moving my way across and just trapping those traveling strands up. So the other side of this does not have any strands at all because all the colors changed on one side, and on the back, once you have everything kind of solidified and it looks good. You can just trim out those traveling strands too. You don't want to cut those strands though that are adjoining as you're moving your way up. Only strands that are like beginning and ending is that you want to trim down. So then you're just gonna keep on going and just match stitch to stitch, or like row to row, and then when you get all the way to the top here, you will just turn the corner and then do 3 single crochets in the corner, and then just go across here and then do another 3 in the next corner, and then just equally spaced. So this side has no traveling strands at all, but just pretty much each row equals one of these a stitch. So it's kind of a neat idea. Even when you get to striping or anything like that, you will have traveling strands. You'll want to bury those in, but again pretty much it's 1 single crochet goes into the side of each one of the rows. So this would be how you would do the Nordic if you were stripes. It's really an amazing Afghan, and I think based on the Joanne stitch along, I think this is something that you can add to your skills and something that you can be really proud of. So until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd. I was with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.